and understanding to bring about that change. Well, look here then. See, providence in this world that we're talking about, philosophy, especially Proclus, Plato. Providence is that prior, it is what is prior to seeing, prior to intellect, see? It's something prior to intellect, it uses intellect, it's prior to intellect, that is in its own nature a basic goodness, that's providence. What is prior to intellect, that's exercising goodness to those things that can participate in it, that's the word providence. Oh. Now what's the way? What's the way? They're basically, Proclus in his work on providence, matter of fact, on providence, let's use that. He goes back to the Platonic model, and he says the way to do it is study arithmetic, geometry, studies of the philosopher King, and that is to generate models. That's to generate models. That's to generate models. That's to make clear this tension. Well, let's see if we can see that by looking at what we said in the opposite way. Right? If we're chained, caught, trapped into patterns that we don't understand, then that diminishes, right? That diminishes our energy, right? Diminishes our energy, diminishes our capacity for growth and development. It blocks our capacity to emerge from or into, blocks our capacity to emerge into a spiritual domain. Yeah. Therefore, it diminishes, it blocks, it chomps, it locks. Well, then what you need to see then is what will do exactly the opposite. Rather than diminish our energy, blocks our growth, let's take the other side of it then. What will increase it? Right? Increase our energy, bring about a greater potential for growth, reduces blocks so that it's possible to merge into a more spiritual domain. Now, they are, in the Platonic realm, the key role of models and archetypes. I'm going to hold back from that for a moment and go into arithmetic. Now, this is a different kind of arithmetic, of course. In Plato, the entire arithmetic means you're doing nothing other than raising and focusing on one question, and that is, what, after all, is the nature of the one in itself? All nature is one, all connected, interconnected. That's a one that's many. The provider, the providing, and the provided, that's a one. This is a one. There are many ones that are unities. There are many ones that are simply collections, a sum of things, designating a sum of things. There's also a whole, right? You want to say, I have all that I need, right? You also then can have a number of parts coming together as a union. You can also have something emerge on a level of perfecting, right? When something is perfecting, then all of the parts are brought together on a higher level, and therefore that's functioning in that way, right? When you bring together and hold together everything, under the impact of this you then have a necessary kind of goodness that flows through everything. When that term is used, then a new word comes in called wholeness, which we sometimes call wholesomeness. Now, all of these are different ways of talking about one. So look here. What would happen if you just decided to try this question out? Then whatever you're doing, you're going to be dealing with something in here, aren't you? Every time you're doing anything, you're involved in this. This is one. Hey, I got 1, 2. I got 2, both chalk. I got 5 fingers. I got 1 hand. It's all together. Unity. Whole. No parts missing. Right. You can have a kind of relation, a meaningful relationship with someone. That's a union where you're willing to be free and be respected within your freedom and not be taken advantage of. That's a dimension of freedom. That's allowing risk-taking so that you then are involved in a perfecting. And you hope that will bring about a relaxation of tensions bound by fate. Well, then, good heavens, that's a one, that's a one, this table is one, this is a one, this is a one. Good heavens, everything is a one. And you can use this language to talk about in what way it's a one. But since the idea of one lies behind all of these, since there are different ways of talking about one, what is the one in itself? Because would you not agree, there are different ranges of experience depending upon which one of these you engage in or allow yourself to be engaged in. So everything is a one. Well, then that's all you are. Hey, wait a minute, the entire universe is a one. All nature is one. These 3 triangles are all one triangle, different aspects of it showing itself in 3 different dimensions, but it's basically one. Right. Then everything is nothing other than a one in these many manifold ways of being one. Well, suppose someone were to say, look, I don't want any more worrying about or dealing with the way in which the one can manifest in all these different ways. What's the one in itself? Say, excuse me, what? Say, well, look here. There are many different kinds of colors. Right? Many different kinds of colors, red, yellow, blah, blah, blah. And there must be something that they all have in common by virtue of which you call them color. Yeah. Well, you can ask, what is color, can you? Yes. Well, then, if these are all the different ways in which you can express one, then what is that one which runs through them all? Because none of them are one in itself. That's the study of arithmetic. That's the study of arithmetic. You're with someone, right? You're engaged in some intellectual task. Right? To the degree that you can find a common basis, you form a unity. You're no longer just 2 things together. Right? The 2 things together, even if they're holding on to one another, that's only a whole, that's okay. But is there a possible way of finding in that whole a union? Is that way in which you can be perfected and find your freedom and integrity within it so that a wholeness may emerge? Higher, more complex levels of one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now here's the step. Here's the